My next speaker, Matthew the Body Mueller, a vibrant 20-something photographer, celebrated portrait and wedding photographer based at the center of the universe, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Attending his fifth WPPI this year, Matthew the Body has also always been known, in his mind anyway, as a legend in the industry and described as not totally awful by friends of the industry. His work speaks for itself. It's quiet, understated, bold, thought-provoking, honest, and filled with possibility. And these are really not words that apply to his work, but words like fast, fun, and profitable come to mind. So running a portrait studio, photo booth company, as well as successful startup boudoir business, Matthew is working all angles. And welcome for your first time at WPPI speaking, Matthew the Body.
So I know what all of you are thinking out there. Who is this ruggedly handsome, stars in his eyes, charismatic young man on the stage accurately depicted in that caricature? Well, my name is Matthew the Body Mueller, and I'm a big fat attention whore. Today I'm here to talk to you about how important it is to stand out in situations and how being the center of attention only brings the right kind of attention to your brand and your presence in your community. I want to give you some tips and tricks on things I do to stand out. I was at a bar with my buddy last June. He turns and looks at me and says, "Dude, you're so law number 6. I had no idea what he was talking about. I just thought he was hammered. Turns out he was talking about Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 6 says you have to court attention at all costs. Well, why is it so important to stand out? We live in a digital era where we're constantly bombarded by businesses and people competing for our attention. Every one of those dots is a photographer in or around Minneapolis. And by the definition of the word average, half of them are average. I found myself being an average photographer in a really competitive market meant I needed to focus more on selling the photographer and not just the photography. So how do we go about doing this? We start out by nailing our first impression. First 30 seconds you have with someone can really influence the way they look at you for the rest of your life. You can overcome a bad first impression, but it always comes with that stigma like, I like Tim now, but I thought he was a really big jerk the first time I met him. Also, you need to understand your talent means absolutely nothing if no one knows you're talented. And it might be outside of your comfort zone, but you need to be willing to stand on that soapbox and broadcast to everyone you meet who you are and what you can do for them. I see a lot of photographers that look to other photographers for inspiration when they're working on their branding. It's really a disservice to you and your company. You need to focus on things that are unique to you and your own passions and bring that into your company to stand out. Are you engaging when you meet people? I talk to everyone. I talk to the guy that I sat next to on the plane. I talk to the dude at Costco. I talk to my bartenders. I ask them their names, where you're from, do you have kids? And I take a genuine interest in people. When we start this dialogue, I also make sure that I'm not hiding behind a mask. I'm open, I smile, I talk to people, and I know that we're gonna be best friends. You just might not know it yet. And you're gonna wanna hang out with me. I swear to God, it's fun. When you're in a group, how do you stand out? Are you prepared to step into any conversation? No one remembers the kid who just sits there and smiles. This means you have to have a lot of stories. And you gotta have stories for different groups because what works with one could absolutely flop with the other. You also have to make sure that these are open-ended stories. If you dominate a conversation instead of contributing to it, you come off as self-absorbed, which is not a quality that people are going to like in you. Breathe. Putting all this together, you can actually force your clients to become your friends. Force friending your clients will allow a couple of things. One, they're going to be more excited to see you. 2, they're going to happily spend more money. And 3, they're going to talk about you with more passion, bringing you better referrals. But if you do force friend your clients, you have to take interest in their life. Ask them questions and care about the answers. And if you can't, fake it. Don't get caught being insincere, though, because that'll be the fastest way to destroy that relationship. When you shoot a wedding, you already have an in with people. So how are you memorable to them? I do tons of things to strive to be memorable, like telling people, add me on Facebook. It's Matthew the Body. I also do things like surround the bridal party around me. I do the Mike Larson camera toss. I rarely get the shot. I've never sold it, but I go through a ton of business cards every time I do that at a wedding. I buy domains like myphotosarethe.bomb.com that reroute you to our real websites because people remember dumb things like that. I put personality in all of this. And the question you need to ask yourself when you interact with people is the personality and image that you're giving the one you want people to have? That's not me. I'm not a stone cold businessman. I'm the fun, outgoing photographer who's going to be a blast to have at your wedding. I'm going to have a ton of fun with your bridal party. I'm going to bring your nerdy 17-year-old son out of his shell, and he's going to have fun doing his senior pictures. And that's me, and that's why people hire me. All of this allows me to market through my life. I can't put my passion and my excitement about my career on a postcard, but I can by genuinely interacting with people. And how do you stand out at Ignite with all these great photographers? You're the only guy who shows up with a t-shirt gun. Thank you.